As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dream.
Hello. Good morning. It's such I forgot how Talk with Joan starts.
Your mom will usually say, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Talk with Joan.
Yes.
But I will be Mini Joan for today.
And you are. Let me
Yes.
just remind you.
Yes, everybody says I look like my mom.
You do.
So,
Gorgeous.
thank you.
Absolutely
Thanks.
gorgeous.
Hope to age like her also.
Yes.
But
And you will.
thanks. I'm excited to be here. I haven't been on the insides in like forever. I think it's 4 months already, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yes.
So just bear with me when it comes to the nerves.
Yeah.
We are in South Africa, so bear the us. But thank you so much for having me. What should I call you on the show?
You know what?
Because I always say Auntie
I
Violet.
know,
Do you
eventually-
want the Auntie Violet on the show?
You can call me whatever
Okay.
you want to, girl. You know, I was thinking about it this morning, how how it's going to be for you to say Violet, because I know that is the
Yeah.
on the inside show with the Talk with Joan, the rules are first names only,
Yes.
right? So I was thinking about it, and then I thought about, but you know what, in the US, I know that they use first names only. Like my son-in-law, for instance,
Yeah.
call me Violet, and I'm used to it. So you can just call me
I'll
what.
see what
Okay,
slips
let's
out.
act this morning, or see what comes out.
You see what's about Violet?
I don't mind, girl. It's gonna make me feel so much younger.
Is it? Okay, then that's good. And we're playing match today.
Girlfriend, like see, girlfriend.
So thank you so much for joining us. I am usually on Gapfest.
Right.
Gapfest hasn't happened in a while,
Yes.
but we are now Talk with Joan.
Yes.
And the topics are a bit different,
Yeah.
and we do things a bit differently, but we're going to
Right.
try and give a bit of both.
Good.
So,
That's always good.
Yes.
That's always good. Being different.
Being
is
different.
good. Yeah. Change is as good as a holiday, right?
yes.
Yeah.
You got a new
Yeah.
seat, and Jessie said it's a holiday. Do you want to start off with? Today we are
Yes.
speaking.
Today we are speaking about intentional habits, right? The things that we don't. Usually, habits are things that we don't think about. It's
Yeah.
things that we do automatically, like we go on autopilot.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it can be good or bad. But intentional ones are the ones that we actually focus on.
Yeah, you wake up with,
Yes.
today I'm going to.
Yes, that's right. So we are going to talk about that. We can have a discussion, like, just over coffee, sit and chat, like girlfriends does.
Yes.
And so it's nothing serious. And please join us if you have tuned in. Join us, through comments. Write something in the comments to encourage us. Or if you want to have a question or a comment,
Or share your habits.
your habits.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the mirror,
Okay.
which is a Joan, Talk with Joan signature. So this morning we want you, as well as ourselves, we're going to focus on, just something that we have, like a habit that we have, like in the morning, first thing in the morning, that we don't even think about anymore. It's
just-
something that we do that has become a habit.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to start off, or should I think of
You can.
something?
Do you understand? Do you have something yet?
Yeah, for me, it's that first cup of tea.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to have it. That cup of tea. Or some people have a cup of coffee,
Yes, yes.
but for me, it's a tea. And my husband makes it, by the way. So it's a tea with the special, the ginger and the lemon. And
Okay. So not normal choco.
Yes, and if I don't have that cup of tea, I feel fulfilled. I feel not complete. I feel there's something missing.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
for lack of a better word.
I get
You
what
feel
you're
that-
saying.
yeah,
For
yeah.
me, honestly, it actually used to be coffee
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yes.
But slowly, there was a period in time when I wasn't feeling too well.
Yes.
And coffee started making me feel like
Nauseous.
yeah. So I slowly drifted away from coffee, although I do feel I do need a cup of coffee to make me feel like, okay, today has started.
Yes.
I'm very lazy before the first cup of coffee. But one habit, and it's not a good habit,
Yes.
that I do when I wake up in the morning is I pick up my phone immediately and I go on Instagram
Yes.
and then I just watch stories.
Right.
And before I notice, 10
Time
minutes
has
has passed. I was
Yes.
supposed to be up already. I was at
Yes.
least supposed to be out of the shower by now.
Right.
But I'm still scrolling,
Yes.
watching the next to the next to the next. And I
Yeah.
think that's a habit. I'd rather do the coffee then
Yes, yes.
because that's more productive
Yes.
and to get things done. But I have noticed that's quite a bad habit I've picked up lately.
Yes.
The checking the phone in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? When that triggers now for me that, I also check the phone, but it's more to see the messages.
Okay.
As any messages come in, is there anything important, that I need
Yeah.
to take note of for the day? So, yeah, that's where I would take the phone. But I know the phone can also become a distraction.
It's a massive distraction.
Especially now that you said time-wise, it can become a distraction.
Yeah. So we're going to do intentional
Okay.
habits today, right?
Right.
And yes, we came up with the idea after
Yes.
watching some motivational
Yes.
on a reel,
Right,
basically.
right.
And the reel was speaking about being intentional
Yeah.
with everything that you do. Wake up, do any habit that's
Yes.
intentional in order for you to reach your goals and in order to reach those dreams that you have.
Yeah.
So just from starting off,
Yes.
the reel said basically it was a woman speaking, my favorite Mel Robbins, and she says, do it intentional, get intentional habits daily, basically,
Yeah.
and start living a life of what you dream to be.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, like, just from the top of your head,
Yes.
do you think that it is safe to say that if you start loving who you want to become, do you think it's actually possible that you will become who you want to become? Because, I mean, if I could live like that every day, does it not mean that I am already that person? Do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying it's the right answer, it's not the wrong answer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in your mind, what do you think? Do you think that statement makes sense in terms of if you live each day being the person you want to be one day?
Yeah.
Do you think those kind of habits can affect?
For me, Benji, if you want to become someone, or to, like you said, you want to live a certain way, and that becomes your reality. That's something that we do intentionally, right?
Yeah.
You have to set a goal to get somewhere. It's like they say the mind move towards what you think about. So if you're not going to put a goal in front of you, I don't think you can actually say that you will become what you want to. For example, if you have a dream, right? Your dream is to become a successful businesswoman, for example.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to put some steps in place. Take action
Yes.
in order to become that. Thinking about it is not going to get you there. Is that
Just
what you, is that-
thinking about it.
Yes. Thinking about it
needs
is
the
good,
actions.
but it needs the action. You need to put things in action, and that's where the goal comes.
Where I feel like people could say, like, but how's that gonna work? One day I want to be rich.
Right.
How am I living like a rich person today?
Yeah.
What's the kind of steps that would be like intentional if that's who I want to be? Because what people need to realize, there's the side of the mindset,
Yes.
there's the side of the materialistic things,
Right.
there's the side of what kind of personality I want,
Yes.
health
Yeah.
goals, all those kind of things.
Yes.
But I think the easiest way is like you would say, the mindset for the goal.
Right.
In terms of how to get to that end goal.
Absolutely.
What are you doing daily in order to get there? How are you living daily? If you want to be this boss lady,
Yes.
are you waking up every day bathing, doing your hair,
Yes.
putting on a good face,
Right.
putting on a clean outfit, or
Yeah.
are you sitting in your gown the whole day and say, one day I'm going to be a boss lady, a boss babe vibe? So I think that's also where it comes into play. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have the goal or the finances or anything
Yeah.
now,
Yes.
but how are you living daily in order to get to that point where this is what I want to become?
Yeah. You know what you're triggering now is that saying of acting that part.
Yes, yes.
Like you've got to act the part, like fake it until you make it.
Yes.
Almost, you know.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So you've got, for me, it's like you've got this dream in your head, and in order to make that dream a reality, there's certain steps that you have to take. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. So in other words, you've got to put goals in place.
Yeah.
Long-term and short-term goals. So if you want to be that business lady, that successful business lady, you've got to take small baby steps. You know, and that's also where we talked about it earlier on. Do you remember? Where we said don't about the progress and the
Oh,
goal.
yes. The
Yeah.
progress versus the completion.
Right, versus the completion.
Yeah.
So you've got to actually put these goals in place, and then step by step move towards the dream or the goal that you have in mind.
So that's actually one of the questions that I had out for you, right? That
Right.
I wanted to ask. Do you think that there's a difference between a goal and a dream?
Yeah, there is. But they are also very, very much interlinked, the goal and the dream. Like, because the dream, like I said, is something that's in your head. It's an idea. It's something that you would like to achieve. So it's, you know what a dream is like. A dream, when we dream. So that's
It's almost
where
like
the word,
fantasy.
It's like a fantasy.
Yes.
Right. But the goal is when you take the action. When you
Yeah.
go over into
By
action.
this, in 6 months' time, this
Absolutely.
is the
When you
yeah.
and the goal is time based. You've got to have, if you want to set a goal and be successful, there's got to be the SMART rule. It's got to be specific, and
Yes.
it's got to be measurable. It's got to be attainable. And it's got to be smart.
So you need the
you've gotta-
goals basically to get to the dream.
You've got to have the goal to get
To the dream.
dream.
And
Yeah.
many people have a dream,
Yes, and it remains a dream.
and it remains a dream because
Yes.
they're not taking those steps
Yes.
to get to the end dream.
Yes.
But then there's people that say, my goal in life is to, but then what happens after you reach that goal? And I think
Yes.
that's one thing that also a lot of podcasts that I've listened to recently, when they speak about goals,
Yes.
there's so many people that say, like, by the age of 25, I want to do this.
Yeah.
They hit that goal because they didn't have a dream.
Right.
They hit the goal and then they're like, okay, I'm here now, so what? I'm not satisfied.
Yes.
So what next?
Yeah.
So a lot of people also fall into depression when they just only goal orientated.
Yeah.
That they don't learn to enjoy the life after the goal,
Yes.
the target.
Yeah.
So that's one thing also we were calling the dream a fantasy just now.
Yes.
And many a times if you have a dream, it's related to this happiness,
Yeah.
this constant joy,
Right.
this all these things. And then your goal, like you say, you think,
Yeah.
if I reach this goal,
Yeah.
that constant happiness is going to
Yeah.
be there. That constant joy is going to be there.
Yes,
That
yes.
finances is going to
Yeah,
be there.
yeah.
And many a times when you reach that point
Yeah.
and you notice, okay, I'm here now. What's next?
What's next? Yeah.
What's next? And I think that's also it's so fascinating for me
Yes.
when it comes to intentional habits.
Yes.
Because what habits have you picked up over
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
that has made your life enjoyable.
Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying just now, that we were discussing the progress
Yes.
versus the completion.
Right.
So many people is so focused on
the completion. Yeah.
the goal, the finishing,
Right.
the end target, that they're not enjoying the progress itself, the steps that I've taken to get to this point. They're not
Absolutely.
enjoying okay, nobody wants the fails.
Yes, yes.
But if you make something good out of it,
Yeah.
and you learn from this and don't give up,
Yeah.
next, onto the next, onto the next, onto the next, you kind of start enjoying the process of the
Yes.
growth,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the dream,
Yes.
or your end goal, basically, you actually realize that I learned so much more
Yeah.
through the progress than
Right.
just, if someone had to give me 3 million right now,
Yeah.
my dream, I can make it happen tomorrow.
Yes.
But what have you learned?
Yes.
What joy comes with it?
Yeah.
All those kind of things. And then that's when you realize that happiness is not really there.
Yeah. You know, it's also a matter of, like we just said now, with regards to the process or the journey in reaching your goal or your target or your dream. It's celebrating the baby steps. that
Auntie
you're
Sonia
taking.
likes that. She
Yeah.
always says, what if you, even something as small as applying an application, she
Right.
says, how are you celebrating this
Yes,
achievement?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. You know, because what we also know from experience is that life is unpredictable. So yes, you've set the goals, but then something can come along to distract you.
Yeah.
You know, to put you off. I was speaking to my son yesterday, and he has, you know, goals to he's busy studying.
Yes.
And so he was also complaining, you know, there's always something that happens. Now they told me I owe X amount, and that puts me off, and
Yeah.
you know, for the studies. And I thought it was for free. And so what happens when we get those kind of situations where life throws you know, things at you?
The curveballs, yeah.
Curveballs that life throws at you, you know, then we have to draw on our inner strength. We have to have like a self-talk. We have to have like a pep talk with ourselves.
yourself, yeah.
You've got to draw yourself towards yourself and start talking and say, hey, Violet, you've now set these goals, you know, to become this I keep on using businesswoman. I don't know who I'm speaking to.
Someone out there.
Someone out there that wants to be a businesswoman.
Yeah.
But this can apply for your studies.
It
you
can
know,
apply
for
to anything.
Anything in
I
life.
mean,
Your weight loss.
While you were speaking, I was thinking marriage.
Yes.
So many girls have dreams of one day I want to get married at this age. I want
Right.
kids at this age.
Yes.
But there's curveballs. You don't realize there could be financial problems in your marriage.
Right.
Something happens. I think of my daughter.
Yeah.
It's a curveball. It's not things that you expected would happen.
yes.
But it doesn't take away my dream of a happy family. It doesn't
Absolutely.
take away the dream of one day we
Yes.
want this house, one day
Yeah.
you want that.
Yeah.
But it's curveballs that come.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got to stay focused. You've got to stay focused on your what you want to achieve, the end goal that you want to achieve. And in order, and
you.
you know, the habits in itself can be internal and it's also external. You know, external habits that we have. For example, smoking is a bad habit. You know.
Yes.
And the reason why it's a bad habit is because it can affect your physical body.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's maybe good for your emotional, your stress and your tension.
For 10
And
seconds,
moment-
and after that, you're back to square one.
Right, you're back to square one. So it's not a very good, wise habit to
Yeah.
have, you know. Whereas suppose when we have a good habit of gratitude, for example, being grateful, looking at the little things in life, you know, just like they say, smelling the roses, the coffee. You know, like
Yes,
we can
oh, I
have
love
coffee
smelling
now.
coffee.
Yeah, smelling. I'm also smelling coffee. Yeah. So smelling the coffee, thank you. And just enjoying the little things, reminding ourselves, you know, to be grateful for just everything. I'm you know, at the stage in my life where I'm just grateful for health,
Yeah.
because I've realized that without health you can have so much money, and if the money won't be able to make up for your
For the
physical,
loss, yeah.
the health that we have. So it's important that we focus on these little things. For example, workout.
I'm bad with that
I
habit.
struggle to work out, and it's such a good intentional habit to have.
It is a really good
Yes.
habit to have. Just that walk.
Just the walk. And what the walk does, it's not only good for one's physical own, it's also good for your mind.
Yeah.
You know,
I was
because,
telling my parents the other day,
Yeah.
it can be something as small as, if you put your 2-minute noodles in the microwave
Yes.
and you have to wait the 3 minutes.
Yes.
And just stand and roll your neck.
wow, that's what I
One
like to do,
side, do
Benji.
the other side.
Oh, I love that.
And
Yes.
then I do the one arm,
Yes.
do the next arm. You just roll.
Yeah.
And I'm not a gym person.
Yeah.
But if I put something in the microwave, I find myself automatically jumping to
Yes.
like body stretches.
Right.
Just roll the neck, roll the arm, roll the shoulders,
Well,
those kind of things.
I'm gonna do that. You know, I'm
Yeah,
gonna take
but
on
one
that
thing
habit, yeah.
I'm very big on in terms of those intentional habits and
Yeah.
certain things like that. There's one habit that I picked up,
Yeah.
and I like Jay Chetty a lot, and I like
Yeah.
Mel Robbins, and I
Yeah.
like that vibes of people. But Mel Robbins recently wrote, well, not recently, some time ago, wrote a book about the high five.
Okay.
And basically, she teaches you how you mentally shift your mind.
Yeah.
So her habit with the
Yeah.
high five is every morning when you wake up, like if it's immediately after you've gotten done, you're about to leave the house, you high five yourself in the mirror, like
Yeah.
in terms of, we can do this today.
Right.
Today we're
Yeah.
doing A, B, and C.
Yeah.
But she said the reason why you do it in the mirror, it's because you're encouraging yourself. You don't need it
Yes.
from outside.
Right.
But just to get yourself going,
Yes.
it's something as small as a touch, because then she goes into research
Yeah.
what's the word? Like when you gym, the kind of things that's released in some
Endorphins.
Yes, your
Yeah,
endorphins.
yeah.
She does research on how a high five, how much a high five
Yes, releases good endorphins.
Yes,
positive
that
endorphins.
positive. That
yeah.
if you high five yourself, it's coming from you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're getting that.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I've really picked up over the years. I've mentioned it before on Gabfest
Yeah.
that I do that, and it's something that I still do because it really actually makes a difference. It's just that. I don't know, it's you giving yourself a high five.
Right.
But the fact that there's a reflection,
Yes.
it's like you're literally speaking to yourself, you've got this.
But you know what? It comes down to the power of the mind.
It comes down to the power of the mind.
It just shows how powerful our minds is. And having said that, it's we can also change our minds. Sometimes we're stuck in a mindset.
Yes.
And we go on like in a rut.
Yes, yes,
in a
yes.
routine. That's where the habits, the
comes
good and the
in,
bad
the good,
habits
yes.
comes from. Is that you stuck in that routine. This is how the old people used to say. Your mom and them will be able to relate to this. Is like this is how I received it, and this is how. We find it in the churches also. Like ons het dit so ontvang and we want to keep it this way.
This way, yeah.
So even in our daily lives, this is how my parents taught me. This is what I've learned from my dad, my mom. Not realizing that there could be a better way.
It could be, and they were actually
It could be
speaking
a
about that
different
on
way.
I Felt the other
Yeah.
day, where they were saying, what traditions does your family follow?
Yeah.
But you don't actually know the meaning
Yes.
behind the tradition
Yeah.
because you're too scared to ask.
Right.
And then they were saying, and your parents don't know why we do it because they were too scared to ask their parents.
Right.
And years down the line, and they're doing things and rituals and things that they don't know
Yeah.
why they're doing it.
That's right.
Because it was just given over generation
To generation,
that
yeah.
you don't really know what is this actually about.
Right. So what we should do then is to ask ourselves, how does this benefit me? What is in it for me? How does this help? How does this make my life any better?
Yes.
Whatever it is, the habit that we have or this tradition that we are following. How is it making my life any better? Or how does it impact anybody else's life?
Yes.
How is it making a difference in somebody else's life? Because ultimately we want to make a difference in someone else's life, or we want to make a difference in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Our main reason for existing is to impact others, to make a change in others. But someone said, I've learned this saying that before tattoo on body, tattoos on your mind.
Yes, yes,
That's a
yes.
Chinese saying.
Yes,
Before
I've
tattoo
actually
on-
heard of
Have you
it
heard that
before.
saying?
I have heard of it, yeah.
Before tattoo on body, tattoo on mind. So, in other words, before you decide to put that tattoo on your body, you have thought about it long and hard. You've thought about it, maybe all the time. Maybe when you were 16 years old or
Yes.
15 or 12, you say, one day when I'm 18 and my parents don't have,
Yeah.
give any
When I'm
consent,
16, I'm piercing my
I'm
ears.
piercing my ears and I'm going to do X, Y, Z, So it's something that we think about. There's another saying that, and it's a biblical verse, and people use it as a universal thing.
Saying.
A saying like, I know in Investment in Excellence, a course that I was facilitating, they used to say, as a man thinketh, so easy.
Yes.
And they didn't say, they only said it's written somewhere.
But
And
they don't
we
say
know-
which scripture it
Yes,
comes from.
we know it's a scripture.
I know when you go on Pinterest and you put
Proverbs
quotes and you're like,
23.
that sounds familiar.
So as a man thinketh, so easy. And that is so absolutely true. The way we
It kind of
think,
manifests
it
in your mind. Yeah.
manifests. It determines what your life is going to look like, what your family life is going to look like, Benji, what your children are going to. We all have those dreams and those goals. And
Which is intentional habits.
intentional habits.
Because
yeah.
what you're feeding yourself
What-
daily.
That's right.
It's
yes.
intentional. The things like I need my first coffee for the day. I scroll on my phone or
Yes,
something like
yes.
that. But then there's those daily habits that you really need to
Yeah.
manifest.
Yeah.
The new thing with the 21st century is what's the saying? I know my kids do it in the morning. It's like when you basically encourage yourself, I am this, I am that,
Oh,
I
the
am
affirmations.
the affirmations.
Yeah.
So it became affirmations, but
Yeah.
previously it was your morning prayer.
Right.
When you thank God, you
Hey.
come before. And as much as I have nothing against affirmations,
Yeah.
but it's so scary how things from the world slowly start changing the names of how
Yes.
things were done.
Yes.
And I thought about it the other day and I said, but baby, you're just praying.
Yeah.
Say, I'm going to pray now.
Yes.
Because you're asking God for safety, you're asking God for protection. Give me the confidence today as I walk
Yes.
into this room and
Yeah.
whatnot. We
Yeah.
pray about it.
Yes.
But what the world has started making,
Yeah.
taking your morning prayer, turning
Yes.
it into affirmation,
Right.
where now you're telling yourself,
Yes.
you're now not gaining your strength
Yes.
from God anymore. And it
Yeah.
was just something I was thinking about.
Yeah.
How we slowly take away, because now the morning prayer just becomes safety and protection.
Yeah.
And affirmations become I.
The I am.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. And I found it so weird
Yeah.
because it is habits.
Yes.
And it is intentional habits
Right.
that the world has told us to do. But as a Christian,
Yeah.
we know it as,
We know-
but that's a morning prayer.
That's
Like,
right. That's
I'm
right.
asking God for the safety today. I'm asking, give me the strength, give me the courage, and I found it so interesting
Yeah.
that, I don't know why I'm talking about it now, but in that moment when I was thinking,
Yeah.
I was like, it's so weird how we went from God, please, God, please give me the strength. You are my pillar, you my this,
Yes.
to I am.
Right,
And
right.
I found it really weird that our intentional habits
Yes.
is so I driven when we grew up in terms of you are, make me, you know what I'm
Yes,
trying
yes.
to say.
And
I'm not
you-
sure if I'm making sense.
No, you make absolute sense to me, because you know what I'm thinking of now is that the I am has become so big that we are so self-reliant, as opposed to when we are Christians, we talk about we're depending on God. I can do all things through Christ. Now
Yes,
the affirmation,
now it's-
because remember there's power in our words. The life and death is in our tongue, right? So when we utter words, it can manifest, it can become a reality. So when we say these affirmations, like I am healthy, I am thin, I am beautiful, I am special, I am, it builds our confidence.
It builds our confidence.
Yeah, it makes us become who we are. The more we say, I am this, I am,
Yeah.
we can put any word in there. And that becomes who we are. That
does.
defines who we are. What we say to ourselves. It's once again the self-talk. And the affirmations is it's just positive self-talk.
Yes.
That we do every day. So instead of as Christians, as born again people, we know better that we give that first, that I am talks. We acknowledge our Creator.
Yes.
We acknowledge the higher power that is within us. And when we say, in the morning, that affirmations, we say it with having our
connection,
God,
basically,
the connection,
the
conversation with God. Yeah, which is, like you said, a prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only place where I worry with that, because I have nothing against affirmations. We teach my kids affirmations as well.
Which is lovely. I love that.
But where it becomes tricky is, I'm not sure, will be the younger generation.
Yeah.
Where social media, the affirmations are kind of evolving to lighting the candle, to doing the sage, to all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I'm finding more and more that it's becoming more of a ritual, more than, I don't know how to put it in words, but you can correct me if I'm wrong in any way, but I find that with the younger generations, they kind of turning the affirmations into a mini religion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're now including the sage, they're including the candle lighting, that vase things that they busy do when they do their affirmations.
Wow.
And it's weird, because I was saying the other day I was invited to an event. Yes. And I didn't end up going to the event, but it was because I had prior arrangements. Yeah. And then when I saw the posts on social media, I was like, we're not even caring anymore what people's beliefs are.
Yeah.
Because the whole entire event, it was a beauty event.
Yeah.
But the whole entire event was yoga.
Yeah.
Affirmations with the candles and the sage, someone walking around with the little smoke and all those kind of things. And it was supposed to be a self-care day, which we kind of, I don't know, we tried to place self-care into, someone was saying the other day, my spiritual journey, and then a person corrected them and said, my walk with God is not a spiritual journey that I'm not on for just this moment. Yes. This is where I come from. This is where I'm going, and this is who I believe in and everything. Stop telling me it's my spiritual journey for me to get to. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So I noticed that that's what we're doing. We're turning self-affirmations, the daily habits, all those kind of things, into taking parts of what other religions do. And turning it into, this is how I'm getting through my day.
Yes.
When it's not Christ-like.
Yes.
Or those kind of things. Because that's daily habits that also come into play. Yeah. The daily habits of, when I was making the notes, it was funny because just after I made the notes, then obviously I didn't come to church, but I was watching live. Yeah. And Xavier was speaking about the same thing. Yeah. Where you slowly take from what the world is giving us through social media.
Yes.
And trying to make this whole new, we're creating our own religion kind of thing. Yes. So I want this from God. I need this blessing from God. Yeah. But in order for my worldly blessings to manifest, I need to take from what's working from these people as well. Yeah. And it turns into daily habits where you struggle of thinking, this is not how I grew up. We were speaking just now also about what comes over. Yeah. There's some things that do need to stick from what your parents taught you versus what social media is teaching you.
Absolutely.
So I think there is that fine line with daily habits being intentional also of the fact that, is this right for me? Yeah. For where I want my family to go, because then that's also a decision you have to make for yourself if it's a Christian household versus not a Christian household. Yes. Where you also need to take your stance on daily habits, what we're doing today. Yes. Having your glass of wine every day, does that then turn into, I'm now relying on wanting to get me through this tough day.
Yes.
As where you might have just started as, oh, I just need to, do you get what I'm
Yes,
trying to
yes,
say?
yes,
The
yes.
small daily habits that can creep in,
Yeah.
whether good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just things that we constantly need to tell ourselves, be intentional, but then also realize other habits that are slowly creeping in
Yes.
of the difficult day, of the I can't handle this anymore. I had to give myself actually a talk.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I started picking up a habit where I noticed that I am relying on the habit
Yeah.
in order for I'm going to be angry now because I need my habit
Right,
kind of a
right,
thing.
right.
And I had to speak to myself and I said, this is not who you are.
Yes.
Nor is it who you want to be.
Yeah.
Because it's another thing if you were an angry person
Yeah.
and you say, this is not who you are, but
Yeah.
then you're like, but I want to be
Right.
this kind of person, so let
Yeah.
me act. So in my mind, I was like, you've never been like this,
Yeah.
nor do you ever want to be like this.
Yes.
Pull yourself towards yourself
Yes. Yes.
and stop this habit right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying, for the first 3 days, I was itching in terms of, I need to. And I have the same habit. A lot of people will always ask me, did you watch? And it's always gay dramas. Did you watch? I'm like, how can you ask me, did I watch that? Obviously, I watched it.
Yeah.
Because I think I've watched every gay drama on earth.
Wow.
And the thing is, it's not a healthy habit, though. It came from, I need to get away from reality.
Yes.
I just need
It's an
something.
escape.
It's an escape.
Yeah.
It's something that has nothing to do with what's going on at
Yeah.
home. It's always some romantic businesswoman that
Yes.
found love, but we never know the ending, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Those kind of things that you actually hunger for it,
Right.
but you don't want to deal with reality
With
at
your
the
current
moment, with your
reality.
current
Yes,
reality.
yes.
So let me picture someone else
Yes.
acting
Yes.
what I wish could be.
Right.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
No, I hear what you say. What is interesting is what you said about the place, the event that you went to.
Yes.
It made me think, about the fact that our young people want to move away from what they were taught. Because religion, Christianity, which is, like we know it, Christianity, is too simple. It doesn't sound intelligent enough. It's not cool enough. It's not, it's almost like, at the same time, when I say that, I'm also thinking, did our older people create that monster?
Yes.
Did we make Christianity to be such a not cool thing, such a burden almost,
Yeah.
Because I know when I grew up, Vanjie, it was like the do's and the don'ts.
Yes.
Everything was a sin.
Yes.
So there's such a fine balance now. When you said about the glass of wine and are you going to take it to rely on that glass of wine, or is it just to relax for that moment, or is that going to become your crutch?
Is that going to be? Yes.
Do you understand? So having said that, I'm thinking about this learning and unlearning. So what our young people are doing is they are unlearning the values, the Christian
Yes,
values.
yes.
And they are replacing it with these, with other rituals.
Yes. So funny
That
you
has
saying
become
that.
the norm now.
I was watching Jay Chetty did an interview with Becky, I think it's Becky B. She's
Yeah.
a Spanish singer, but she's from America.
Yeah.
And she's quite young. I think she's 27, but she started off at 14.
Yeah.
And she was speaking about because she kept speaking about spiritual.
Yeah.
And then Jay asks her, so tell us about your spirituality and
Yes,
whatnot.
yeah.
And she actually mentioned exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because as a Mexican, they're Catholic.
yeah.
And she says that I grew up over religious.
Right. So I don't want that anymore.
Yes.
I want
so she
something
doesn't.
else.
So now she's
new.
doing meditation.
Yes. Yeah.
But she knows, she always she keeps saying in a interview, but I treasure the prayers of my
You
grandparents
see?
and things.
Yeah.
But it was too religious.
Yeah.
And that's funny. A lot of young people start conversation like that when they say, I grew up in a very religious home.
Yes.
And if you think about it, it's not really that you grew up in a religious home.
Yes.
There is some people that take it far, like don't wear the pants.
Yes.
You can't wear a spaghetti top.
Yes.
You know, those kind
Yeah,
of things,
yeah.
close your shoulders and all
Right,
of those
yes.
things. Where
So they box us in
they
and they
box
put us
us
in bondage. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then there's also, like you say, the young people, we're so woke
yeah. Yeah.
now
They take it too
because
far.
we
Yeah.
see so much happening
Yes.
on social media.
Yeah.
We see what celebs are doing. We see all those kind of things. And you start, what I've noticed is they start questioning
Yes.
because there's no physical thing except you putting me in this box here in
Right.
religion.
Right. Right.
As where here it's meditation, it makes you breathe nice, it's
Yes,
this,
yes,
it's
yes,
that, it's
yes.
that I find that the hunger
Yeah.
for
For more.
for-
For something tangible.
which is also a
Yeah.
cult,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you now claiming you're coming from a cult
Right.
because they say it's over religious, it's like a
Right,
cult,
right.
but you fall into another form of,
Of a
cult,
Yes. Absolutely.
which you don't realize.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
affects your daily progression to where
Yeah.
you want to go one
Yeah.
day. Before you know it, you're like, how did I get here?
Yes, yes. Yeah, no, for me, Vanji, that it's so important that we stay with our principles because as much as we want to become modern and we want to become, what is the word?
Also accepting.
Accepted in society and we the woke culture and we want to learn more about business and all of that. They are fundamental things. They are just things that we cannot move away from, and that should stay in place. The core values of
The
our
core values,
core
yes.
values in society, the core values in our home to keep our families together. Like I firstly said, gratitude
Yeah.
is one of them. Having an attitude of gratitude, making time for your family. Those are things you cannot get away from. And you know what? Social media is indoctrinating us. It can indoctrinate us negatively or positively.
Yeah.
It depends on how you want to view it. Because like you said, it's
And
a
what you're
distraction.
actually looking at.
And that's very important. What you're actually feeding your mind, because garbage in, garbage out. That's just how the mind works. Subconsciously, what you feeding your mind, putting in your subconscious is going to come out
Yeah.
again at a later stage or on your daily basis. I'm thinking, for example, about how we allow in the media, how it's become acceptable to say the word Jesus Christ as a swear word,
yeah.
right?
Movies, it's
And
like,
movies, sometimes I love the storyline of the movie,
But
but
the
it
language.
grates, the language just grates me. It's just, just gets to me, the fact that it's every second word is Jesus Christ and the F word and, stuff like that. So, but the story is lovely, and then sometimes I need to make a choice there. Do I want to watch a story? Or for Suits, for example, have you watched Suits?
yeah, but I stopped after like season 4.
Oh, you stopped? I loved it because of the cases.
Yeah,
The reality, the cases that they bring up.
yes.
And there was one case in particular where it also comes in, with our, what we're talking about, habits and goals and dreams, where this one lady sued the other one for stealing her dreams, for stealing her book.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that one,
Yeah,
where
I
they
watched
had
it like maybe 7 years ago.
Yes, the case about stealing, making a case against someone
Yeah.
else for stealing my idea, my story, and selling that, making money off of that. And that happens so often in our
It
daily
happens
lives.
often, yeah.
That when we
And
have,
you think you're sharing.
you think you're sharing with, if you have a goal or a dream, and you need to be careful who you share it
yeah.
with. The most important people is obviously your spouse first, if you're married.
That's a habit
Yeah.
of me, that
Yeah.
I actually told myself, you need to stop it.
Yeah.
I'm someone that's very open.
Yeah.
I speak, you take it how you want to take it.
Right.
And not in a rude way. It's just
Yes.
like, I'm not secretive.
Yeah.
I don't like it when, why must everything be a secret?
Yeah.
But what I learned is there's something that I'm busy with now, and that's when it opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I was sitting in conversation with someone about a dream and something I'm working on, and someone else walked in the room, not really knowing what exactly we're speaking about, but they
Yeah.
just got the topic.
Yeah.
And they started speaking all this why that won't work
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And I actually sat back in my chair, and I was like, I started the doubting.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so maybe it won't work.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't have the personality for
Yes,
it.
yes.
Maybe I don't have the drive for it.
Right.
Maybe I don't have. And it's so important, like you say, you need to be careful who
Ooh, you share it with.
you share
your
with.
dream with.
Because there's those that can say, go for it.
Yeah.
Then there's those that can speak down on it.
Right.
But there's also those that can say, go for it, but then tomorrow they've done it before you
Yes,
because they,
yes.
they had the means to get it done ASAP.
Right, because
Yeah.
they say that's a good idea and then they run with it.
Yeah.
Right, or they better your idea.
They
because
better.
that just triggers something for them.
And they're like, yo, this can
"That's
actually
a
go
great
further."
idea. I can actually improve on what she just said now.
Yes.
You know, and that is so typical of human beings. That's so typical of people. And that is why, like I said before, it's important, people, who you share your dreams with, because it's not everybody that has your best interest at
Yes,
range.
it's not
Even
everybody.
family members. It can be your brother or your sister, and somehow secretively they are jealous of you.
Yeah. Or
Maybe
there's a
since
competing
childhood.
spirit or
Yeah,
something.
competing spirit. You know, I've come to a point where I'm just happy with who I am. I don't want to compete with nobody. I just want
Yeah.
to be. It's
Life
such a
is
good space
difficult enough.
Life is difficult
Why you
enough.
still want to
Just
add
be
a-
yourself?
A line to say who gets there first.
Right. I just want to compete with myself.
Yeah.
And by saying that, I mean, I want to be the best version of myself. So if I need to study, if I need to do something, because remember, it's about our image and our character, right? And you cannot just become someone. You've got to work on that.
Yes.
You've got to actually do something to improve your image, improve your character, you know. So I just want to work on myself. Something that I regret, and I admire Lady S about that, is the studies that I
Yes.
didn't continue with my studies, that I didn't take it to another level. So regret is also something that is,
It plays a big part
It
in where
plays a-
you go after that.
yes. So do I, stay there in the regret, or do I move on? You know, do I then find another goal? If
Yes.
studies wasn't the thing, can I pivot? Can I do something else?
Yes.
But we need to keep moving. Like, remember, we've got to keep moving. We've got to move forward. We cannot, because when you keep on looking, regret takes you into the past.
Yes,
And
it
when you
does.
stay in the past, you're going to
If
stay stuck.
if I rather did
If
this,
I did
I
this,
could have
I
been
could
here.
have, I should have, and you know, and also what with the past, what that I find out is that with older people, they say the same things over and over and over because they're stuck.
They stuck there.
They're
yeah.
stuck in the past. They only live on the past successes and what they did in the 20 years ago, 30 years, 50, 60 years ago. And for me, it irritates me.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing today? Live.
Yes, what are you doing
What are you
today?
doing today? What are you going to plan for tomorrow and for the
Yes.
future? Because it just keeps us behind.
Yeah.
It doesn't help us in any way. It's good to, sometimes they say success builds success. To tell yourself, hey, you've done it before, so you can
Do it
do
again.
it again.
And that goes with that
Yeah.
small celebration
Yeah,
that
that's
Lady S
small.
always goes on
Yes,
about.
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's a form of that enjoying the progress.
Yes.
In terms of, okay, you said you want to drive, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You bought the book, the
Right.
driver's license
Yes,
book now.
Yeah.
Have a celebration. Go out, even if it's to McDonald's. Buy yourself a
Right.
strawberry sundae,
Right.
and just say, I made the first step.
Yeah.
I bought the book.
I made it.
After the booking, you celebrate the booking. Those kind of things. And it's so weird how it actually changes.
Yeah.
And that's a very nice habit that I took from Lady S.A.
Yeah.
Me, I like to celebrate.
Yeah.
But I've never thought about celebrating such small milestones. And it's something that I started doing recently because I applied for something and she's like, so what we doing today
Yeah.
to celebrate that?
Yeah.
And now slowly I'm doing that even with the kids.
It becomes a good
You
habit.
do a test.
Yeah.
Come, let's celebrate that you did it. You
Yes.
made it through to the next round,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So that is a very nice intentional habit because
Right.
you're celebrating yourself, number one.
Yeah.
You're enjoying the process of getting to your end goal, so
Yes.
it doesn't feel so draining
Yes.
all the time, because you know
Right.
how it also is. If you have a goal, it's like, oh, can this day just end because, let me get a little bit of sleep so I can move tomorrow
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
a thing. It takes and relaxes all of that. And then it's also nice, like you were saying, be careful who you are, but then also have good people around you.
Yes.
So that there's people that's celebrating
cheers
with
you,
you,
that
that's
cheer you
cheering
on and
on.
say, "Hey,
that
Violet,
you're not
you got
feeling
this."
like you're doing it alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what I've also learned is taking a deep breath. Counting to 5. That's a good intentional habit to have. It's counting to 5 and taking deep breaths, because sometimes life is so stressful.
Yeah.
And so we find that we're not even breathing properly. And we forget that just breathing, inhaling like intentionally is good for your lungs.
It is.
So that's another, good intentional habit to have. Something I've also loved over the years is to learn something new every day.
Yes.
Even if it's just a new word.
Yeah.
And now, for me, with this AI, artificial intelligence,
Yes.
oh God, girl, these technology is very daunting for me. So things that you guys take for granted, the cell phone, the apps, we are scared.
Yeah.
So, but with intentional habits, it's like making, intentionally tell
Yeah.
yourself, you're going to learn something every day.
I'm gonna learn a new app.
I'm going to
today.
learn a new app. I'm going to learn
I'm gonna learn how to edit my pictures. How to put a
Exactly.
filter on
Right.
it. I was telling my
how to
mother,
do banking
you and
online.
you and your friends need to learn how to post multiple pictures on Instagram, because your heads are always chopped off. You can move the picture.
Yes.
But the more you do it, the better you become at
That's
it.
right.
So instead of just staying away from it,
Yes, and be fearful.
be fearful.
Yeah,
You can
and be paralyzed by fear.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
a lot of people is saying we look beautiful in our matching
Oh,
outfits.
thank you.
That's on a read. Lady S says absolutely, to become what you want to become, work daily improvements, being uncomfortable and being vulnerable
Yes.
at sometimes is not just a roses.
Yeah.
Of what? Just a rose walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then she says, I think people should start setting goals for social media usage. If people don't control that, it can distract them from their daily routines and goals. Yeah, but they have that app now, where it shuts down if you've been on
too long.
Too long.
Yeah.
You say how many hours you can
Good.
be on.
Yes.
And then Candace Sammy says, laughing at yourself doing something very silly is my habit. Singing off key and making a TikTok when I feel a bit down.
That's good.
Lee says, great conversation and insight shared, ladies. It's a quarter to weekend and what a great way to kick it off.
Yeah.
Lady S says, am very high on celebrating small achievements. It pushes me to the next level. I can't wait for big things to happen in life. Is too short.
Yes.
Sanji, who is the friends? Lol, your mom and... Who's the friends that's cutting their heads? But no, seriously.
Who is she talking about?
Who are you talking about?
Yeah. But something that a good habit that my mom also taught me was the power nap. To take a 30-minute power nap.
Oh, I can't do power naps.
You cannot do that.
It will turn into a 3-hour nap. I'll rather just stay awake until the evening.
Yes.
But then also that shows not every habit is the same for everybody.
Yes.
What works for me won't necessarily work for you.
Yes.
And what works for you might not work for me.
It works very well for me, and my husband marvels at the fact that I can still sleep the evening. But
Is it?
Yeah, I just
But
train
you
myself.
stay in that time of the power nap. You
The-
don't.
Yeah, maybe to an hour. The
Okay.
power nap can go to an hour. You know what? I also, because of memory, and I don't want to speak it over myself, but you find the older you get, you don't remember things that
Yeah.
well. I purposefully make a list of things, a to-do list.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's also an intentional habit. That's a good habit.
That is a very good
Yeah,
habit.
to make a list, you can make it on your phone, make it on a piece of paper, but that will help you stay focused, help you to remember what you need to do, goals that you set out for the day. Another thing is, I said the list, making out a list and planning out your day. You've got to plan out your day. Where am I going to? What am I going to do? I
And
feel,
actually do it.
and actually do it, yeah, or
Yes.
reflect. Did I do that? And also, but remember, with the goals, we've got to plan. You've got to actually say, this is my short-term goals, this is my long-term goals,
This is my daily
this is
goals.
my daily goals. You know, for some of us, we actually need to have
Yeah.
a goal to make our beds, like,
No, true story. True story.
and have a goal to do the dishes and
Yes.
things like that, and to be intentional. Let me put that, an intentional
Yes,
habit,
intentional
an
habit.
intentional goal. And Lady S loves to talk about learning.
Lady S could have been here today because we
And
Lady S-ing
I
all day.
I know, because this is just a topic that is, I think, close to her heart. Is
Yeah.
that, I've learned when I was in education, we always had to go on workshops to be life, and we were reminded to be lifelong learners. So the learning thing, Lady S likes to do that thing about learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Yes.
So even with the habits, the intentional habits, if it's a good habit that we want to acquire, we can unlearn the bad one and we can replace it with a good one.
Yes.
That's where the relearning comes in.
Do you know one thing? I also watched something about habits. I think a few months ago,
Yeah.
and it stuck with me. I even made someone watch it as well,
Yeah.
where it actually really changes a lot in terms of some things that habits, intentional habits that
Yeah.
you can start, or just daily exercises that you do during the day, the
Yeah.
previous day, to make the next day better.
Right.
And there was some small things about don't start your day angry for things
Wow.
you could have done in the evening.
Yes.
So one thing that stood out a lot for me was in terms of obviously having kids.
Yes.
Instead of screaming the whole morning, get
Yeah.
done, make quick, yeah.
Yeah.
kind of a thing. It's not their fault you running late.
Right.
They'll say, make a list of things you need for the morning.
Yeah.
And before you go to bed, you rather do all those things
So true.
that you were supposed to do in the morning and
Yeah.
start your day relaxed and
Yes.
in a good mood
So
than
true.
to say, it's fine, I'll do it in the morning.
Yes.
So they say, make sure you wash the dishes, clean
Yeah.
the counters,
Right.
do all those kind of things. Pack the lunch if you know you must pack the lunch.
Yes.
You know where you're going tomorrow because
Right.
you're supposed to plan your day, like you
Yeah.
said. Take out possible outfits.
Right.
If it's hot, you're going to wear this. If it's cold, you're going to wear this.
And Google helps us with the temperature, knowing exactly,
Exactly.
what the day is going to be
If
like.
I'll see how I feel in the morning, but here's my two options,
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
yes.
And they said that the amount of time and the emotions
Yes.
you save yourself
So
from
true.
just planning the night before.
Yes.
Your morning is just a walk in the park.
Right.
And I've tried it.
Yes.
When I do prep in the evening, my morning is so easy. No
Goes
one's
smooth.
shouting anybody.
Yes.
No one's late. No one is rushing anybody. It's
Yeah.
just so much more relaxing.
Yes.
But that's habits you really have to be intentional about,
Yes.
because it takes a lot out of you
It does.
to say the day is over. Let me finish all
tired.
these things now before I go watch TV.
Now that is where your mind once again comes in, where you have to stretch your the energy. You've got to, when there's a goal, the energy moves towards it. So your energy is good. If you're not gonna tell yourself that I need to put the children's things ready, I have to be proactive, the energy will not follow.
Yes.
Do you understand?
It won't.
If you tell yourself, I'm so tired, you're going to switch off. I'm going to just read now. I'm just going
And
to
you're
watch.
going to be so
You're
tired.
going to be so tired. But when you tell yourself, I'm coming from work and I still need to do X, Y, Z. I still have to read to the children, or I still need to, help them with their homework and things like that. The energy will follow you.
It will.
I promise you, the energy will follow, if you commit yourself. And you know what I've also learned with is that change is inevitable. We have to change, and you've got to be committed to changing. Because some people want to do the same things over and over,
and expect
they
change.
say and expect different results. So change is actually can be scary too. If you're set in your ways, it can be something scary that you don't want to change. It's safer to stay the way you are.
Yeah.
But I challenge you this morning, Vanjie and myself, Violet, just to change, to embrace change.
Yes.
And change can come in different forms and shapes and sizes.
I'm thinking of someone also that kept saying they've been doing this exact same thing for 30 years now already. They're so tired.
Yes.
And my encouragement is always, but you as a person, what would you actually like to do?
Right.
What actually matters to you?
Right.
And what are you doing to get to that point? So if you are doing the same thing every single day
Over
for
and
30
over,
years,
yes.
when is your off day where you can actually say, okay, how can I do what I want to do?
And whose responsibility is it
is
to
it?
make those changes?
It's yours. No one's going to come do it for you.
Yeah.
No one's going to wake up and pick you up from one spot and put you in the next spot and say, now do it.
Yes.
You need to do that for yourself, and you have to do it daily. There's daily actions that you can take. Is if it is you doing something for the same 30 years and you want to do something else, sign up. There's free courses.
Right.
Because you just teaching yourself a little more. You don't need the actual qualification as yet.
Yes.
You're just opening some doors, some mindset. I can get there.
Yes.
But you teach yourself if you don't have the finances. If you have the finances, go for it then and do it. But if you don't, do these free courses, read up, watch YouTube videos in the field where you actually want to go to, who you want to become, if it's even personality-wise.
Yeah.
Watch podcasts, listen to podcasts where it's in line with who you want to be. And don't just sit in that bubble. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
But nothing else is coming. You're not feeding yourself with any motivation to change that 30 years. Because with that attitude, 60 years time, you're still going to say, I've been doing this for 60 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to change.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I think that is where my children play a very important role. Because I can be myself with them, and they challenge me on that, about this changing, and because it's easy for us as older folks to say, we complain, we lament, but we also don't have the courage to change.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Do you see that?
I see what you're saying.
So they are almost like the cheerleaders, and they are almost like the ones that can criticize you, the ones that are close to you, that can actually tell you your truth.
Yes.
Because sometimes we don't want to accept the truth about ourselves, that we are stuck, that we are not making any progress, we don't want to change our habits, And so, yes, the younger folks, I'm going to commend you guys. You're not always just the negative voices, but you can also inspire us.
Yeah.
And I find inspiration, from a lot of young people, like Pastor Xavier, for example. Xavier, he inspires me a lot. You, and so many others, Leandra. There are so many young people that we can learn positive things from, that we can learn, to, like you said, make a move, think different. Because we, as much as we want to complain about how the world is now, we have to move with the times.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use a cell phone, and you say, no, this is not how I grew up, and then you're gonna stay behind.
You're gonna stay behind.
I'm just making a small eject. You've got to stay behind. Like I have to, for example, I had to learn how to use my banking app.
Yeah.
Because the banks are not doing
lost.
certain services. They're not rendering certain services. So we have to change, and it's a mindset that needs to change.
Yeah.
And we have to talk to ourselves.
It's the same like people that say, I don't leave the house because I don't want to. But I found that a lot of people that say that, it's not that they don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't have either, number one, the friends,
Yes.
or there's something stopping them of exploring life.
Yeah.
But it's like I told my mother the other day, she was just saying, we just go to the same restaurant every day. I say, yes, but you're putting yourself in that comfort zone.
Yeah.
There's Google. Type in
Yeah.
restaurants in Johannesburg.
Right.
Look at these reviews, there's
Yes.
pictures. And I said, I went even further. I said, it's so easy now. If you see the name, go to YouTube and
Yeah.
you type review on Insights. Somebody has reviewed the food at Insights and told you if it's nice, if it's ugly. They told you if the service is good. They told you, can friends come?
Yeah.
Do you rather go there with a partner or do you go with friends? They've told you the setup, if it's loud music, if
Right.
it's soft music.
Yes.
There's just so much information out there,
Yes.
but we keep ourselves in a comfort
Yes.
space, a
Yes.
comfortable space, and call it a comfort
Absolutely.
bubble. And we don't explore
Yeah.
life to get out
Yes.
there, to
Yes.
see new things,
So
to grow
true.
in more ways. And
Yeah.
it's just small steps, like
It's true.
instead of driving to Mall of the South, drive to Mall of Africa. You know what I'm
yes,
trying
yes,
to say?
yes, yes.
It's more effort,
Yeah.
but you see life.
That's right.
You see different things, you learn different things, you meet new people that way.
Yeah.
It's just get out of the house.
Right, get out of your comfort zone.
Get
you
out
know,
of the comfort
when
zone.
you spoke about the restaurants, it just triggered for me the eating habits also that we have. I'm so used to my chicken, and my friends used to tease me about the chicken, and say, one day when you die, we're gonna throw a chicken in the grave, and we're gonna, put a lip liner in your grave, and things that little habits that we
Yeah.
have. But it's almost like we're so stuck and we're so fearful to even explore other foods.
Yeah.
Like prawns, for example, or
Yeah, I've
or
never
just
had a prawn just because I feel like it looks like a cockroach. I've never tasted it.
Well, I've been brave enough to to try that,
Uh-huh.
and I also thought the same thing when I first was introduced to it. It likes fingernails or something,
God, it's
and
just-
fingernails. But I've overcome that fear, and I actually love it now.
Is it?
So sometimes we need to get out of that comfort zone
Yes,
and just
yes.
try different things. And like you said, I don't want to repeat what you said about the
Yeah.
mall, going to different places. And
But
Yeah.
we have come
What
to
is
the
the
end.
time?
Do
Have
you
we
want to any closing remarks?
you know what? I just want to actually talk about where we started over the intentional habits, and I love to go back to the word.
Okay.
And Romans 7:14 verses 25 says, "Now the word habit is derived from the Latin habitus, which means how you are." Right? So it actually means your state of condition, and the Weber Dictionary defines habit as an established pattern of behavior. So it is the habits, I want to remind us, that shapes or forms our character. So I want to just encourage us to intentionally, have good behaviors, like set ourselves up,
Yes.
think about what habit will line up with my goals that I have in mind. If it's the studies, I'm going to have to learn to wake up early. I'm going to have to wake to set through my goals. And a habit is a learned behavior that becomes reflective over a time as we go, on autopilot. It's later on you don't even think about it. It just becomes part of who you are. So for me, just like brushing teeth, let us intentionally decide on good habits so that we can improve our lives, so that we can become the better versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe we're actually at the end, because there's so much that
You had to.
I wanted to say and wanted to add. and
always do
but it was
a-
lovely talking to
a
you.
part two.
Yes, it was lovely having a conversation with you, Vanji. And
Thank
it
you
was like
so
you
much.
said, it was just like sitting in a coffee shop and having a conversation. And I trust that even our listeners, those have also enjoyed that it has triggered for them to think about habits, that stuff that
And
we do
yeah.
on a daily basis. Yeah.
Yeah. So my closing remark will just be, yes, intentional habits, like you mentioned with everything, what it actually is.
Yeah.
There is good, there is bad
bad,
habits.
yeah.
You need to be intentional on what you want to take. I always think about people who wait for a Friday because they intentionally tell themselves they're going to get drunk, or they
Right.
intentionally tell themselves they're
Yeah.
going out.
Right.
We need to start doing those kind of things for serious things as well,
Right,
and not just
right.
for nice time as well.
Nice, yeah.
So be intentional where you want to go
Yes.
and who you want to be.
Right.
And don't let anything sidetrack
Yes.
those goals, that vision, that
Yeah.
dream, because there is a lot of things that can sidetrack. So
Yeah.
with every single little thing you do, be intentional of where is this taking me to and why is it going to take me there.
Yeah.
Just think what matters most,
Yes.
because many times the distraction will take you here through, and then who you actually wanted to be
Yes.
and what you wanted to do
Will derail you.
and then you've taken another path. So
Right.
be very intentional on things that you take on.
Yeah.
Will this benefit me in the future?
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to say, Talk with Joan will be at Royal Kingdom
Oh, wow.
on Saturday.
Yes.
So we are excited for that, and I
Yeah.
hope to see some viewers there.
Yeah.
But please do join us on Saturday at Royal Kingdom, as well as Talk with Joan will have a segment. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you so much
Exciting.
for having me
Yeah.
and for going with the flow,
Yeah.
not sticking in the bubble
Right.
of Talk with Joan. We were saying about how you're so used to doing things, and we
Right,
did it a bit
right.
different today.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to everybody for joining, and hope to see you next week with the real
Yes.
Joan. Ciao.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.